Saya tunggu signal dari CDAE.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, selamat pagi. Hari ini kita akan mengadakan satu tajuk Student Engagement and Motivation yang akan dikendalikan oleh Dr. Fazila. So, anytime from now, Doktor.
Alright, okay. Okay, terima kasih Wani. Terima kasih Puan Wani. Okay, Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi kepada semua. I see this not as a series of lectures lah, but more on actually sharing, because this is what we've been doing, and I'm sure this is also what we will be continually doing. So dia bukanlah macam saya nak bagi kuliah tentang apa itu what is student engagement and motivation, tetapi is more on actually kita is a platform of sharing of experience of me and also kepada semua all participant lah, because I strongly believe that we can learn from ourselves, and also we can also learn from other people. So by these 2.5 hours of session, I hope I can actually share and also learn from you, and you all can also learn from me and learn from others. So there'll be a platform, and then there'll be also a session at the middle of this webinar, where throughout the session actually I can ask and you are actually welcome to share your thoughts and also experience handling and implementing whatever strategies in order to engage and motivate your student. Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okay, saya Fazila. I'm Fazila from School of Education. Saya tengok macam there's no foreigners in right, there's no foreigners, so I can use both bahasa Malaysia and also bahasa Inggeris. Okay. This is what I would like to listen from few of you maybe. How have you found success in engaging and motivating your students? Mungkin Dr. Azam boleh share apa yang Dr. Azam buat sikit as introduction?
Hello, Assalamualaikum Dr. Fazila.
Okay, Dr. Azam, ya.
Tak, sebab saya tak ada hands-free saya ni. Biasanya kalau dalam kelas the first 5 minutes biasanya saya tak mulakan kelas dululah. So I just asking on how the student well-beings for that particular day or the yesterday one. And then sometime I'm sharing lah any life story, success story that's come from many sources lah available, so that to keep them awakened and feel motivated lah to continue or to further learn their respective course.
Okay, itu this what Dr. Azam did. Okay, kita dengar Puan Rohaida daripada Pusat Bahasa. Sebab Puan Rohaida di Pusat Bahasa ni dia mengajar pelajar daripada pelbagai latar belakang ni, dan bahasa Arab merupakan bahasa ketiga sebenarnya kan untuk kita. So apa yang Puan Rohaida buat ya?
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Dengar ke?
Dengar.
Okay, saya Rohaida Pusat Pengajaran Bahasa. Saya mengajar bahasa Arab sama juga dengan Dr. Azam tadi. 15 minit pertama saya tanya kesihatan mereka, lepas tu dengan social life mereka lah, lepas tu bagi motivasi galakan kepada mereka dulu sebelum memulakan pelajaran. Sebab saya rasa saya kerja selama 18 tahun di Pusat Pengajaran Bahasa, masalahnya bukan nak menghadapi pelajaran tu, tapi masalah motivasi dan galakan tak ada. Semangat nak belajar tu tak ada. Itu je lah.
Okay, Dr. Susana?
Hai,
Boleh dengar?
Boleh, Dr. Suzana.
Actually, about motivating students, not really, because I just started teaching, so I didn't think much about motivating students. Tapi, engaging students in terms of my teaching, my subjects, I will perhaps, I have actually given videos and asked them about the videos that they watch, but they are related to the topics that I taught. Yeah, so that's for engaging, but motivating not so much actually.
Okay. Okay. So daripada pandangan beberapa rakan-rakan, okay, I will always do this sharing session throughout the sesi. Or otherwise, I'll be the only one krik-krik talking the whole 2.5 hours, right? So nanti semua orang pun nak bosan dan saya pun jadi macam demotivated pula nak cakap till the end of the session. Okay, so from our friends' view, sama ada no matter we are actually teaching in university or also teaching in school, primary or secondary, the first 5-10 minutes is actually quite important. Cuma masalah kita kat university, the problem for us, because in school, basically if the lesson start at 8:30, budak-budak lambat masuk pun at least 8:35 macam tu kan, sebab the lesson is continuous lesson from one subject to another subject. Kita kat university ni, sometimes our, especially the morning class and also night class at 8 o'clock in the morning or 8 p.m. 8:30 pun ada budak masuk lagi kan. So bagi saya dia sedikit mengganggu dan juga kita tak boleh nak repeat apa yang kita dah buat the first 5-10 minutes tu, sebab kita dah kena terus jalankan kuliah kita sebab pukul 10, 9:50 after 1.5 hour, after 1 and 50 minutes ke 50 minutes, lepas tu budak akan they move to another lecture. So itu masalah kita. So bagaimana nak suruh pelajar datang awal, kalau macam saya punya kelas lah, I try as much as I can tu sebenarnya ingat nama budak-budak, sebab budak-budak yang datang lambat ni basically adalah budak-budak yang sama. Dan budak-budak yang nakal, yang krik-krik ni selalunya adalah budak-budak yang sama. So the first 2-3 weeks of lectures, and then and because we are actually teaching the same cohort of student kan, so kita mengajar dia untuk khusus ni and other courses, so basically kita dah recognize budak-budak tu. So what I always did in my class, masuk-masuk tu 10 minit ke dia tak masuk ke, kita dah sebut nama dia. Sometimes budak-budak ni tak masuk lagi kelas, especially the class at 8 o'clock. Dia tak bangun pagi lagi pun. Tapi bila kita dah sebut nama dia, kita sebut dah nama dia, kita kata Asri, kawan dia text dia, doktor dah sebut nama hang. Tak lagi 8:30 dia masuk, dia cakap, doktor sorry saya baru bangun tidur. Tapi at least dia datang kelas. Sebab dan kita dah, dia orang tahu dah budak-budak yang selalunya dalam kelas saya panggil ahli syurga lah. Kalau yang ahli syurga tu kita jangan risau. Dia memang dah masuk, dah duduk depan, dia dah ada, kita tahu dah tempat dia kat mana. Yang sedikit naughty ni lah. So sebab bila kita sebut macam tu selalu, InsyaAllah lah saya rasa salah satu cara yang bila kita ingat nama dia, macam kita lah bila kita ingat nama student, cikgu ingat nama kita dulu, kita rasa seronok kan. Sebaik mungkin. Nak ingat nama budak, and I do have to admit, semakin tua, saya susah nak ingat nama budak. So saya selalu bagi my own nickname pada budak-budak tu. Saya yang bagi nickname dia. So dan budak kawan-kawan lain pun akan ingat. Contohnya saya ada seorang budak Kelantan, nama dia Mat Yo, M-A-T-Y-O. Tapi dekat baju dia dia tulis Mak Yo. So saya duk panggil dia Mak. So sekarang ni the whole cohort dia panggil dia Mak sebab saya panggil dia Mak. Dan saya boleh ingat dia sebagai Mak. So saya akan I have my own nickname for the students lah. So I can remember them. So by caught 2-3 budak macam ni kan, sebab 2-3 orang ni lah yang macam dalam kelas kita lah, kalau cikgu kat sekolah, if we could control these 2-3 yang naughty ni, InsyaAllah we can control the whole class lah. Cuma dekat universiti ni sedikit berbeza. While preparing the slide for this, I do also come across a review saying that the more tua lah budak-budak ni, dia punya motivation and engagement actually decrease, which is I think somehow true lah. Sebab bila kita pergi tengok kelas sekolah rendah, kelas sekolah menengah, kelas ke universiti, kita tanya soalan je. Kalau kelas tu, they'll be like, okay, an example, 30 student in a secondary class, 30 student in a primary class, 30 student in our lecture hall. If in primary school level, if the teacher pose a question, I think half of the class, at least half of the student will put up their hands kan, akan nak jawab, berkobar-kobar nak jawab, right? Bila kita pergi sekolah menengah, quarter of the student akan jawab. Which is true lah saya rasa. Kalau kita kat universiti ni, tak ada budak angkat tangan pun, kita kena panggil nama. So to say which is saya rasa true, semakin berusia budak-budak tu, dia tidak bersemangat dan bermotivasi. And then also reflect on my own children lah, because I have seorang anak secondary school, I have one also daughter in standard 4, my second is in form 3, my first is in second year UM. So yang standard 3 tu kalau balik kita selalu balik kita tanya macam mana kat sekolah hari ni, how's your lesson. Dia selalu akan cakap, mama tadi dia ni angkat tangan cikgu jawab. Kalau kita yang nombor 2 tu biasa, okay, itu jawapan dia. So kita nak cakap in term of motivation, engagement tu macam mana kan. So anak kita yang nombor 3 tu kalau masuk KT kan ambil sekali. Sekarang ni dah balik lagi sama lebih kurang kan 12.5, yang ni 1.5 selepas ambil adik pergi ambil kakak. Yang nombor 3 tu akan bercerita, mama ni. So kita tahu. Which is, saya boleh reflect daripada apa yang saya baca, which is true bila tengok kepada keadaan anak saya. Yang nombor 3 ni, okay tadi sekolah, okay. So saya rasa nak kata faktor sekolah, dia sekolah kat Bukit Jambul. People will say pergi hantar sekolah yang bagus apa semua. Saya rasa sama ada dia sekolah kat Bukit Jambul ataupun sekolah biasa ke, boarding school ke. Saya rasa ini adalah mungkin situasi budak-budak yang berada dalam peringkat sekolah menengah. Tak nak aja dia jawab. So anak saya yang sulung ni, so sekarang ni online class kan. Dia cakap kesian lah mama, dia kata lecture, dia kata bila time lecture time kan, dia kata dah lah online sekarang ni. Semua orang tak tunjuk muka kan, semua orang hide video. Lecturer tu seorang je yang krik-krik untuk 2 jam. Kan? So dia kata tak ada, bila lecturer tanya soalan, tak ada siapa pun nak jawab. Dia kata kesiannya, dia kata so selalu dia kata dia pun ambil lah inisiatif untuk jawab. Tapi takkanlah dia nak jawab the whole 2 hours tu dia seorang dia jawab, lagi nampak macam apa pula kan. So lecturer pun cakap, okay, next, selain daripada Fatin, who else? So nak ceritalah. So saya rasa which is true, umur itu memberi kesan kepada kadar motivasi dan juga engagement pelajar. Jadi ini memberi implikasi kepada kita bahawa it's not easy for actually us to encourage the student to engage and to motivate the student. Sebab review dah bagi tahu bahawa umur itu memberi kesan kepada kadar keterlibatan and also motivation in the class. So jadi it's really a challenge untuk kita. Kalau kita sekarang mengajar kat kelas sekolah rendah, kita bawa sikit pun dia dah rasa seronok dan teruja. But in university level, saya rasa which is agak susah untuk kita. So kita harap hari ini is really a sharing session. Kita akan berkongsi pengalaman kita semua. So we hope we could actually transform kita punya classroom environment. Sebab saya percaya insyaAllah by next semester kita mungkin dah boleh slowly start our face-to-face learning punya session kan. And kita kena aware juga sebab budak-budak ni kita dah bawa dia kepada online learning session. Dia dah go through the online session. So dia pun tahu bahawa mungkin silap dia boleh bagi kat kita alternatif pula. Doktor, buat online learning je lah. Sebab bila buat online learning, kita duk bercakap kan for 2 hours. Tapi kita tak tahu apa yang budak-budak ni buat. Dia really listen kita punya lectures. Macam kita jugalah sometimes bila kita dengar webinar series, sebelah kita tengah buat kerja lain kan. So when ada key point yang penceramah itu cakap, kita akan stop and take notes ataupun carefully listen. Otherwise we will just dengar je kan. So kita risau sedikit satu semester pendedahan terhadap pembelajaran secara atas talian. Pelajar-pelajar ni rasa tak apa pun, tak pergi kuliah pun kita risau lah. So this is second challenge that we have to face lah. The first challenge because they are actually adult learner. Lepas tu budak-budak sekarang ni mana suka nak angkat tangan, mana suka nak jawab soalan, kecuali kita panggil nama. Sebab tu saya kata kenal nama pelajar tu penting. So apa yang saya selalu suruh buat adalah kalau kelas yang saya baru masuk, saya suruh dia pakai stiker nama. Kan? Lepas tu kami sebab pendidikan, kebanyakan kita memang budak-budak ada nampak. Sebab bila semester 8, mereka akan pergi latihan mengajar dan sebahagian daripada kursus memerlukan mereka untuk buat simulasi pengajaran. They kena act like a teacher and demonstrate the teaching in front of the class in a tutorial classes. So they already have their own name tag. So kita minta dia pakai name tag lah. So kita boleh panggil nama. Otherwise, this is something that you really have to do. You have to call their name. Otherwise, especially in a big lectures. Kan ada sampai 100 orang, 160 orang. Kita tahu the turnover is actually half, 70% je yang datang untuk kuliah kita kan. So it's really a challenge lah. Okay, so kita dah dengar beberapa pandangan. So are you engaged educator? Adakah kita engage pelajar kita? Kita kena ingat bila kita engage pelajar kita, kita kena engage dia cognitively, behaviorally and also emotionally. Dia dalam kata lain macam ni lah, kalau kita tengok TV tu kan, kita engage dengan cerita movie tu. Saya bagi contoh Maleficent lah, satu-satunya cerita yang saya suka tengok dan saya immerse myself in a story, in a movie. So bila kita tengok Maleficent tu, cognitively kita berfikir, kita boleh pergi and then kita boleh nampak perkaitan from one story to another, from one scene to another scene. Behaviorally kan, behaviorally macam mana kita react towards cerita dalam tu kan. Anak kita kata mama sabar mama sabar, kita punya then also emotionally kita rasa kesian, kita masa the anger, the frustration yang kita feel dalam cerita tu. Movie kita boleh ukur senang, tetapi macam mana dalam kelas kita nak tengok bahawa pelajar-pelajar kita cognitively dia engage, emotionally dia also engage in our classroom, behaviorally also dia also engage. Yang kita risau ialah sebenarnya ini yang berlaku bila kita mengajar. Budak-budak ni jasad dia saja dengan kita kan. Emotionally di tempat lain, cognitively kita tak tahu sejauh mana dia faham. Sebab bila kita tanya soalan, kadang-kadang dia tak boleh nak jawab. Nanti dia boleh tanya kawan di sebelah. Kita tanya Asri, nanti dia bangun, dia terfikir-fikir. Nanti kawan-kawan kiri kanan, depan belakang yang ahli-ahli syurga ni tolong bagi hints untuk jawapan. Dan, so ataupun bila kita tanya, dia tak boleh nak kaitkan lecture sebelum tu, apa yang kita cakap sebelum tu, yang kita cakap hari ni kan. Kita suruh dia kaitkan dengan persekitaran ke, isu-isu semasa ke, dia tak boleh. So kita nampak aja macam dia duduk dan dengar. Okay, masa my first few years teaching in USM, masa tu ada berita kampus. So bila budak masuk lecture, benda yang dia bawa adalah berita kampus, surat khabar tu kan. So tak apalah, kita boleh ambil surat khabar tu, kita masuk-masuk. Sekarang ni dia dah tak ada surat khabar dah, dia ada telefon. Kan itu adalah challenge kita yang pertama. Saya rasa challenge yang paling hebat. Dulu dia masuk memang dia buka berita kampus. Dia masuk kelas kita, dia duduk, dia menyandar, kita start dia, bawa naik kita punya PowerPoint, dia pun start buka surat khabar. Tak apalah, you can just take away the papers lah. But now the problem is dia actually start texting. Kita start mengajar, dia dah start texting. Phone dengan dia itu ada bersama. So saya selalu cakap dalam kelas saya bahawa saya punya telefon dia boleh berbunyi sebab saya kata saya ada anak, saya ada suami, saya ada mak mentua, saya ada mak. So in case of emergency. So memanglah dia pun cakap dia pun ada mak, tapi bukan banyak sangat emergency. Dia actually texting their friends, okay sekejap lagi nak pergi janji lunch dekat mana kan. So this is very big hurdles yang kita kena, macam mana nak buat supaya to keep them actually sit and listen for 2 hours without playing with their phone. This is not easy because they are actually with the phone every single moment. Text lah budak. Kalau kita text kawan kita pukul 9, kita text kadang 10.30 baru dia reply. Sebab apa? Kita semua sibuk kan. Kebetulan phone kat tangan. Kebetulan kita sedang buat kerja kan. Kalau budak, text sekarang dia jawab. Text kan issues that what? They actually eating, saya rasa mandi pun, eating, sleeping, the phone is actually with them. It's a half of them, telefon tu. So inilah cabaran kita dalam kelas, macam mana supaya kita nak mengajar, dia tidak on the phone all the time, tetapi dia engage and also dia sentiasa bermotivasi untuk belajar. Okay, so itu yang saya maksudkan bila kita nak mengajar untuk. So kalau kita rasa how do we engage our student cognitively, emotionally and behaviorally, kita nampak dia bersemangat kan. So sebenarnya behavior tu ada satu indikator kan. Kita nampak dia menunjukkan minat kan. So dia boleh jawab. Dan jawapan dia tu kita tahu is really authentic from the heart kan. So okay, saya nak tanya Dr. Justin. Apa yang Dr. Justin buat untuk engage student Dr. Justin? Mungkin boleh ikut rakan-rakan maklumkan pusat pengajian mana supaya kita boleh tengok pusat pengajian ni buat apa, pusat pengajian ni buat apa. Okay, Dr. Justin?
Assalamualaikum. Boleh dengar ke?
Boleh Dr. Justin.
Boleh So saya biasanya saya akan relatekan contoh lah kan, kalau saya ada topik macam saya dari School of HBP, saya mengajak seni bina. Salah satu topik yang saya mengajak tu adalah how to submit your building or planning plan kepada council. Jadi biasanya saya akan mulakan dengan menceritakan sedikit lah, sedikit pengalaman saya terlibat dalam submit plan ke council untuk dapatkan kelulusan. And then baru saya akan masukkan start dengan introduction kepada what is building submission or planning permission, dan kemudian saya akan cuba tanya lah, biasanya saya akan cuba bertanya kalau ada dalam tu pelajar senior yang saya masukkan ni, pelajar yang dah berdiploma atau yang mempunyai sijil seni bina sebelum ni kan, supaya mereka sama-sama share sedikit sebanyak kalau mereka ada experience dengan perkara itu. Kemudian barulah saya akan masukkan topik dan terus sampai ke habis lah. Begitulah biasanya saya buat.
Okay. Dr. Nur Safia? Ada tak saya nampak Dr. Nur Safia? Saya list nama-nama yang saya kenal. Nanti saya tulis nama lain. Dr. Nur Ashidi? Ada nak share?
Ya.
Dr. Nur Ashidi, ya.
Macam mana kami engineer ini kebanyakannya memang akan ada more on the group punya style, group punya discussion lah. So memang dia agak rapat lah di antara student tu. So apa yang saya buat selalunya kita more on the share, minta diorang bagi pandangan, diorang discuss dulu sesama diorang, dan begitulah kita nak more on anggap diorang ni, saya selalu anggap diorang ni more on orang yang dah dewasa, so menjadi lebih kepada bukannya anak murid lah, lebih kepada macam kawan gitulah. So tapi kita still ada gap di antara lecturer dengan student lah, di mana dia still hormat kita sebagai pesyarah, tapi dalam masa sama dia orang tak rasa cukup bila nak berkomunikasi dan juga memberikan pandangan dengan kita lah. Jadi saya lebih suka yang begitulah daripada berbanding jika saya more on the okay, you buat ni. So saya tak suka macam tu. Saya lebih suka anggap dia orang sebagai orang yang ialah macam kita, orang yang adult dan dewasa. So sama-sama belajar, saya pun belajar daripada dia orang pun belajar daripada saya. So macam itulah. Dan kadang-kadang pun petang-petang main meeting dengan dia orang sekali. So kita nak ada hubungan yang lebih itulah daripada, maksudnya dia orang hormat kita sebagai pesyarah, tapi bersama dia orang tidak takut untuk mendekati kita. Itu je lah.
Alright. Okay, so listening to Dr. Justin and also Dr. Ashidi, so what basically Dr. Justin did was actually he tried to connect his experience with also the new learning concept. So this is important things during the introduction set when we want to start the lesson, which is good for us to actually connect on what actually the student have some information and also knowledge about, and also what they want to learn, because this set induction will actually function as a bridge that connect the new coming lesson and also their previous experience. So it's easier for actually the student to continue to understand the whole lesson. And also this is for what Dr. Ashidi, I think you are still young, Dr. Ashidi, because you can still play badminton with your student. You are actually building a relationship with your student, which is one of the most important element. When I read through some articles in preparing this slide, this is something that we need also to do, building a relationship with the student. So dalam kata lain, when we build a relationship, we build trust, kan? Then trust kita as their lecturers and kita trust dia as a student, because they're actually an adult learner. Dia orang tu lebih kurang, when I started my career as a lecturer 10 years ago, 12 years, 11 years ago, I see my student as my sisters and brothers lah, because masa tu I was the second in my family and few of my sisters are still in college. So looking at them like I look at my own sisters and brothers. So kita marah dia macam kita marah adik kita, kan? So that's why I can get close with the student. But now, at my age now, and also with the years of teaching, I see my student as my own children because my own daughter already in second year. So dulu kita panggil budak-budak ni adik manis, adik cek macam tu kan. So it's more and we look at them as kita marah macam adik. But now when kita marah dia macam mana. That's the case when a group of students, my student always come to my room. That's the incident where a group of students come because sebab we always have a consultation because there's always a project in my all courses. So they always come to discuss about the project. Sometimes they are not only discuss about their project, sometimes they are also sharing some of their life problem kan, cerita-cerita asrama dia lah, kawan-kawan, not so very intimate and personal problem, masalah assignment dia lah, whatever assignment. So that's one girl, suddenly dia cakap, doktor ni macam mak lah. I was like, so, nak kata saya dah tua sangat ke? Macam tu lah saya kata. No. Dia kata bukan. Dia kata doktor macam mak. Sebab bila kita datang jumpa doktor, kita ada masalah kita selesai. Macam kita cerita dengan mak kita. So I was like, oh my God. So they see me as their mother also. So this is the relationship that you should actually build between you and your student lah. Sebab bila dia rasa dia dekat dengan kita, macam kita lah bila kita rapat dengan seseorang, kita rasa macam, serba salah lah, tak patutlah buat dia macam ni, janganlah buat. So saya rasa macam tu. So itu yang student pun mungkin akan rasa, cara ni baik, takkan tak nak datang kelas dia, dia tanya soalan tak nak jawab. So saya rasa dia macam psychological effect also lah between your student and you. So building a relationship is very important. So you will have like mutual understanding and respect between you and your student. So it's easy actually. And then bila kita nak ajak buat kerja, saya rasa Dr. Ashidi mungkin tak ada masalah. Bila dia nak buat projek atau dia nak suruh budak buat tugasan, because he can play badminton with the student. Because even it looks like activity santai, but I believe when you play badminton, you also can sembang-sembang juga pasal kelas lah. Betul tak Dr. Ashidi? Kan pasal assignment ke whatever project they need to accomplish kan. So this is why I said why the bridge, the new knowledge and the previous knowledge is important, and also building a relationship is also important. So these are few strategies that some of our friends actually did, and I believe basically I think all of you are actually also doing this in a class, but it's just that we realize atau tak realize je benda tu penting dan tak penting dalam kelas kita. Okay, how you motivate your student? Mungkin Dr. Uy, could you give me some, could you share with us what you did in order to motivate your student, Dr. Uy? Where's Dr. Uy?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Uy.
Yes.
Yeah. How you motivate your student?
Normally I like to walk around so that I would like to know what is understanding about the lecture for the particular session. So perhaps I will know what problem they actually facing. So normally I walk around and make sure I approach, because my class size is not big actually. Normally it's less than 60. So I can really approach every one of them in every session actually. So I can actually get to know what are the problem of distract them, for example. Right.
Okay. Can others hear what Dr. Uy said? Is it clear? Okay, Dr. Marilyn, can we listen to you? Dr. Marilyn? How you motivate your student, Dr. Marilyn? Dr. Marilyn, are you with us? Okay, let me call others. Prof. Azhar, okay, we should listen to Prof. Azhar. I think super senior from HBP. Prof. Azhar? Prof. Azhar Maisa?
Oh, you call me, yeah. Hello.
Hello, yeah, Dr. Prof. Azhar, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you for giving this talk. How do I motivate student and how do I engage student? Well, we ask a lot of questions, and most of this question is to provoke their thinking and persuade them to to stay uh, to stay focused in class, make them laugh, make them smile. So it's like I have to entertain them. Every contact hours counts. 30 to 40% is about entertainment. Only 60% is the real educations. Okay, thank you.
Wow, this is something that we should learn from our Sifu, you know. I mean, listening to what he said, every contact hours actually count. So the bulk of the teaching and learning time is actually in entertaining the student, and the rest are actually only then the learning happen. If we are actually refer to the early childhood education, this is how the children learn. You know, they learn through play. They don't realize that they're actually learning, but by in involving themselves in a play, they learn how to count, they learn new vocab, they learn language, they learn they are actually enhancing their psychomotor skills, right? So which we could also adapt in our lecture hall now, which is we need also to entertain, but the concept of entertaining, which we have to define differently compared to the early childhood, because I think what Prof. Azhar mean by entertaining, actually you are actually entertained to the student question, you know, you are actually trying your level best to make them understand your topic, and because he will always pose a question in order to us to make the student stay focused and also to provoke the student. Q&A, even this is in education, the question and answers is one of the traditional teaching approach, right? Since previous zaman P. Ramlee dulu, this is what the previous teacher also been doing, okay, asking a question. This is really traditional teaching method compared to nowadays we have like and in immersing ourselves in the technology era. But even in using the technology era, we are also using question in our WhatsApp, in our Facebook, in our WeChat, in our WebEx. So the asking question, even a traditional, but to say this is considered like one of the strong method to engage your student in your learning. This is what Dr. Azam and our one Wahida informed us earlier. They will always start the class. Dr. Justin also ask the class, will start the class by asking question, right? And then and also by asking question, we will actually invite the student to start immerse in the topic. So this is basically even considered like very traditional, but this is one of the effective way to engage the student in the lesson. So what are the indicators that your student are engaged and motivated in your class? What are the indicators? Apakah indikator yang kita rasa budak kita memang dah terlibat engage? Dr. Muhammad Fazli, what are the indicators? Dr. Fazli. Tak ada? Dr. Nadia? Apakah indikator? There's no right and wrong answers here. This is more on a sharing of experience. Dr. Rod? Yes, Dr. Nadia, yeah.
Nadia je, it's okay. Sorry. In an English class, usually you cannot get everybody to be interested, right?
Yeah.
But macam mana nak cakap selalunya macam like I always use the methods earlier, like asking questions, and more importantly now, students are more interested in what's trending. So when they start talking about what's viral, what's trending, because when you teach English class, you need to make sure that they use the language. And in order for them to use the language, we have to talk about something that they might be interested in. So if they start talking about it and they start laughing, well, Those are my indicators that they are actually motivated, at
Alright.
least a little bit interested.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's listen to it. This is experience from, I think you are from School of Language, Solat?
Yes, saya daripada School of Languages. Saya mengajar bahasa Inggeris.
Okay. Dr. Zulkarnain?
From PPSG, actually.
And then from?
PPSG, dental school.
Oh, okay.
Normally, what the early morning class, I will try to engage them into my subject, but try to make them rationalize what are we going to have for that session. And then to motivate them is at the middle of the class. So we try to, what we call it, keep a relaxation for 5 minutes. And then refresh back. And then try to make understand why they need to learn that subject. So what I done.
Okay. All right. What I can conclude from Nadia and also Dr. Zulkarnain, what they are actually doing is actually to make things relevant to the student. Okay, this is, we will come across ARCS by Keller, motivation by Keller. Relevant is one of the important component to make the student engage and motivate. They must see the things that they are actually learning is relevant, very close to them. Like what Nadia is actually doing. Because yes, you are not only, this is not the problem in English language. In all language classes, Nadia, we are actually having problem to make the student talk. And language is, the more you talk, the better you'll be, right? It's a practice make perfect subject. So you are actually doing good by selecting a topic that student have interest in, right? So sekarang ni we have to choose a topic yang dia suka nak cakap, the topic that very close to you. So you don't talk about penerbangan hutan, whatever those things yang dia tak minat. So you need to ask them to talk about things that very close and also very relevant to them. This is what actually Dr. Khairul and Dr. Zulkarnain also doing. Because in the middle of the session, you said that you make the student understand and also see the rationale why they need to learn this topic. Because if student could see the things relevant to them, macam kita lah, if we could see the things relevant to us, we will have like push kita punya motivation to do that. A simple analogy is like you ask your children to eat sayur, right? Basically, children don't eat sayur. I'm also struggling my first few years when my children are still a baby. So I need to force them actually to eat sayur, to drink plain water. So I need to tell them the why they need. Okay, explaining the why. This is also a keywords in actually bringing up our children. Even this is terlari sikit daripada our topic today. This is how the things that you need to do to make your children or your student do things. Kena nampak dia, for them actually to see why they need to do this, the relevant, the reason behind why. So like my children, I said, why you need to eat this? Why you need to eat sayur? Okay, it's quite hard to explain the pyramid of makanan, right? But by giving appropriate examples, you can make them understand why they need to eat sayur, and they will eat sayur. So also in a same things, why they need to do this. Because like myself also, I really need to push my students because they are going to be teachers in school. Okay, we are actually producing teachers in School of Education. We are producing teachers and we are actually facing a serious problem in schools. Many students don't like to go to schools. I have 3 daughters, okay. The first one, okay, already in college, but I'm facing the problem with my another 2 daughters. Not only my daughter also, but I think most of the students in school, they don't like to go to school. They don't like to go to school. So when I first did my PhD, when I had my first discussion with my supervisor, this is the word that came from his mouth that I keep always in my mind. The problem in teaching is actually not to force the student to actually like the subject, but actually to like the teacher. If they like the teacher, they will like the subject. It's not the subject, but the teacher. That's why we can always hear our say of our daughter. Example is our children, own children. This Form 2, she will say that I love mathematics because I love this teacher. Naik Form 3, naik standard 3, I don't like mathematics anymore, Mama. Why? Because I don't like the teacher. So in order for the children, for our student also, to like the subject is, we have choice, but basically we have no choice. We have to make our student to actually like us. If they like us, they will like the subject. So this is what I always telling my student. Okay, you have choice, but you have no choice. You have no choice. You have to make your student love and like you. Only then they can love and like your subject. So I really need to think of strategies how to make my student to be exemplary teachers. Okay, exemplary teacher. How to be exemplary teachers. So this is the things that I always doctrine in their head. Why you need to do this? Why you need to do this? Why you need to do this? Because we are going to be teachers. You have to be. You have no choice. You have to be an exemplary teachers. So in order to be an exemplary teachers, you need to have protein with you. You need carbohydrate. You need vitamins. You need minerals. You need everything in you. Only then you can be an exemplary teacher. So that's why they need to learn this. They need to do this. They need to complete this task. They need to do this assignment in order to make them ready to go to school, because we are actually telling, because they are also aware, because they are basically from school. They gone through all the experience in school. You can ask your student, who is the best teacher? Why you like those teachers? And what are the good criteria of a good teacher? This is what we always got trained in their head. So to make they see things, why they need to learn this. So I think in all of our field, whatever field you are teaching now, this is something that you need to tell your student to see the relevant, why they need to do this, why this is important to them. So if they could see the relevant of doing things, I think they will have the intrinsic motivation to learn and to learn and learn and learn and relearn. In nowadays world, we have to admit, knowledge, they can gain knowledge anywhere, right? Dunia tanpa sebadan, they can gain knowledge anywhere. And even the online teaching tell us, and also tell our student that they can also get knowledge without seeing our face. Kan? Kita pun upload bahan saja. We are uploading things in the whatever platform that we are using. So we are actually giving signal to the student. Without lecturers also they can learn. But we must also the hardest challenge also for teachers. I always told my student also, one of the hardest thing is to make yourself relevant. Like a mother, the hardest challenge also to make ourselves relevant to the doctor, to our children. If the children keep coming, mama, it means that we are still relevant. Every single thing they will tell you, mama, kaki ni macam lupa sikit. Mama, tadi kat sekolah kan, mama. You might be feeling very irritating. Your children keep calling you. But it's a signal that you are still important. Because they need to tell you, they need to ask you, they need to share with you. It means you are still relevant as a mother. The same thing also as a lecturer. If the student keep coming and asking you a question, it means you are still relevant with them. If they don't come to see you, okay doctor, okay, we can find ourselves. Okay doctor, it means what? Hang tak ada pun tak apa, kami boleh cari ikut internet. So the greatest challenge I always told my student lah, bila jadi cikgu tu dia kena relevant. If the student could find all the answers in the Google, tu buat apa dia awak jadi cikgu? Without you also they can learn. But this is also, I'm telling myself also lah, to make myself relevant in this industry, education industry. I need to make myself relevant also, where even they can find many things in the internet, they will still need to come and talk to you. They will still need to come and clarify with you. They will still need to come and also ask you. They will still need to come and ask your opinion. Right, so things things that we can do also is by telling, showing the relevance of doing things. So this is one way to keep them engaged with the lesson, engaged with you, engaged with the teaching and learning process, because they know, internally they know they need to learn this. All right. So this is what I said. But this session is not a teaching session. It's more on a sharing session. We are actually sharing what we are actually doing and what other people are doing, because we will learn from ourselves. Okay, from our own mistake, we can also learn from other people. So I had like good feedback this morning. So it been almost 1 hour, and the session is still hot. All right, so we will continue. For objective of this today's session is objective of the sharing today is for us to more understand. It's not means that you don't understand, it's to more understand the concept of engagement and motivation in the teaching and learning process. Okay, basically we cover this during our first 30-minute, 40-minute discussion, right? By hearing our friends' experience, we have like some concept of what is actually engagement and motivation in the teaching and learning process. The sharing is also to identify the relationship between engagement and motivation. Which comes first, engagement first or motivation? I did ask my daughter, my eldest, you motivate and then you engage, or you engage only then your motivate come in? I did also ask my daughter. She said, okay, let's listen to you after this, okay? And also, the important part of the sharing is actually to plan strategies. It's not I'm going to give you strategies. I will share what I did basically, and we will also listen to from our friend. Okay. So this will be the 3 objectives of this session. I hope by the end of the session, I could cover these 3. Okay. So the objective one is to understand the concept of engagement and motivation in the teaching learning. Okay, engagement, there's a lot of definition of engagement. So basically engagement is refer to student willingness. They are willing to and desire to actually participate and in the learning process. They willing to participate. Like some of your, like what Nadia said just now, when the student laugh and talk and discuss about the topic, it is an indicator that actually the student actually engage in the topic, right? Like what ada Dr. Azam and Sofwan Rohaida shared in the earlier also, when you ask the question and the student willing to ask, just imagine yourself, you are in a lecture hall where you pose a question, nobody answers your question, right? But this never happen, right? When we ask question, that's why the Q&A technique, like what Prof. Azhar did, even a traditional method, this is one of the indicator that actually student is actually with you. They put answers to you. Even sometimes so sickening, you ask them a question, the student will just stand up and know nothing to answer because they are emotionally, behaviorally, cognitively are not in a class. They are thinking about something else, right? Bila kita tanya, the kiri kanan kawan will give him the question. Doktor tanya ni, doktor tanya ni, doktor tanya ni. So this is what we need to really cater with the student. So that's why we said the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the lesson is very important. We need to preach the lesson, okay, and we need also to make the students see the relevance of that topic. So in order to make them see and listen and be there the whole 2 hour 2 hours lectures, like us in education, the lectures is all 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours lecture. It's really a struggle for my first few years of starting my career. 2 hours, how to keep the student listen for you first 2 hours. And I will share also my experience, what I did previously and what I did now. All right. So engagement is also degree of attention. You could also, as a teachers, as an educator, you could also differentiate the student which are really engaged and not engaged by the, because you could read the student body language, right? The way they answers the questions, the face expression, right? You could also value. You could also assess how are they really engaged, are they really motivated in your class. So by observing and have this some early information in you, so by next time okay, this is a problem with a very highly motivated student, medium class of motivation, a lower class of motivation. So for next lesson, who you should attack. Okay, and maybe you should, this is what I always do also. Sometimes you ask A, he cannot answer the question. I said, okay, remember next week, he will need to explain this to us, the whole class. So everybody will aware. When you are giving lectures, you will stop somewhere, right? And then ask question. And then the student cannot answer. Say, okay, cannot answer. Okay, this is what you will do. Next week, you will tell the whole class about the concept of engagement. Okay, I just give lectures about engagement, blah, 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 for the first 5-10 minutes, showing those video, whatever things. and then you ask Asri cannot answer. They say, okay, Asri, never mind. Tomorrow, next week, okay, Asri will tell us about engagement. And I always, because you always have a head of the class, right? I will, okay, Amir, remember, first thing next week in our class, you will start by asking Asri to tell us about engagement. So don't worry, next week, the first 5 minutes, at the moment the student are all ready, Amir will say, okay, Asri akan cakap pada kita tentang engagement. This is one way to actually keep my student awake. Kita habaq dah kat siap-siap. Sebab hang tak dengar, minggu depan hang datang, hang kena cerita. So, not to say all lah, adalah nanti. You could see some of the student mula dah kat kepala lah. Put their handphone aside. Or otherwise, kita duduk bagi kuliah, dia duduk tengok handphone. So, I'm avoid myself on giving lectures for 2 hours. I don't do this anymore. Giving lectures for straight 2 hours. So, sekali lagi kita share how I did to avoid myself giving lectures for 2 hours. So that my student don't get bored. Alright, attention, curiosity. They will starting asking question, interest. Curiosity ni susah. Sebab budak-budak sekarang, like we said earlier, the lebih tua dia dia macam tak nak tahu banyak dah. Compared to small student, like my first daughter, my youngest daughter. Sikit-sikit nak tanya, sikit-sikit nak tanya. The second one, okay lah mama, dia dapat tahu sikit pun cukup. The incident that happened yesterday in Lebanon, my third one was so eager to know about actor, whatever thing, until 10:30, 10:40 last night. So I told my husband, stop telling her. It's already a bad time, she need to go to school tomorrow. My second daughter, I don't think that she really understand about atom and everything, right? But with that little knowledge, enough for her. But for my little one, with my husband really need to explain about what is atom, why, blah, 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 so on. So curiosity, I think we are actually dealing with these teenagers. There are many other interesting outside. That actually make them feel that they are not interested something with this very serious topic in the lecture. And sometimes we have also to admit our student, when they come to the class, the purpose is to get grade for that course. When the course finish, they forget everything. They forgot everything. The purpose is actually to listen. Okay, to sit, take this paper this semester, PPK 221, they will come, do all the assignment, everything, blah, 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 blah. They will get grade for this course, that's it. So next semester, they will learn another lecture. Sometimes they don't see the relevance of the connection between the previous courses and these courses and the coming courses. This is something that also I did in my lectures. My first few weeks, this is what I always do. I make them see the previous lecture, why, the reflection from the previous lecture, okay, what they will learn this semester, and why this semester subject important for the next coming semester. The relationship between the papers they are taking, right? Because when we design the program, when we design the curriculum, each of the paper are actually interrelated, right? Connected to each other. But sometimes the way we did the lectures, and because different people are actually teaching different subjects, so they see this is Fazila subject, this is Asri subject, this is Azam subject. They don't see that Fazila subjects is actually like to say prerequisite for Azam, because Azam course. Okay, Dr. Azam course is actually prerequisite to make them better understand for Prof. Azhar course. They don't see this. So as a lecturer, this is what, because we see the whole things, the whole program, right? So as a lecturer, this is something that we need to see, to show to our student, the interconnection between one subject to another subject. So to make them understand and see the relevant why they need to study on. Or otherwise, this semester, they lupa. So like our student, third year, you ask about the learning theories. They learn the learning theories since their first years. Okay, in our few compulsory papers to all our first years. They learn all those theories. I think the lecturers are giving their level best to teach about the behaviorist, cognitivist, constructivist. When they are in your paper in the level 2, level 3, when you ask them about constructivist or connectivist, it seems like that's a new word to them. Terpinga-pinga. Constructivist, it shows that dia belajar ikut semester. Finish semester, close all the books, put all the notes, assignment, everything in a box, letak tepi, hujung semester, letak depan pintu, the cleaner will take and throw away the things. So we don't want that things to actually circulate among our students. This is not actually a good habit, right? So this is engagement. So engage student in learning process is important because increase their attention and focus, motivate them to actually practice higher level critical thinking. This is one of the 4 C's for 21st learning centuries, which is critical thinking. Promotes meaningful learning experience. This is important things. Meaningful learning experience. Why? If they could see the meaningful, this will be the keywords to lifelong learning. If they could see the meaningful learning, or they could have this meaningful learning experience, that's how we could also promote the lifelong learning in our students and have everyone more successful achieve the course learning objective. This is one. This is like what we have to do, right? So the student take the papers. They need to understand. They need to actually success. Okay. So our learning objective achieve. Okay. So this is indicator how we successful deliver the course. Okay, this is the why. And motivation, there's also various definition of motivation. The person's desire to attain a goal, our own, is a one-two component. I really want it. I really want it. Okay, internal state that initiate and maintain goal-directed behavior. Because basically, motivation is there's a motive why they need to do that, right? So that motive actually drive them, trigger the action for actually our student achieve that goal. Okay, motivation is dependent of 4 dynamic perceptual component, which is ARCS bicolor. I will show you what it means by ARCS bicolor. It's one of the popular concept of motivation in education. Okay, so motivation we have like 2 categories of motivation: the intrinsic motivation and also the extrinsic motivation. Okay. The intrinsic is actually more to the internal desire. Individual motivated by the internal desire, instinct, insight. So this is what we should focus more. That's why there's also an idiom because saying that teaching is the work of heart. Okay, you need to actually touch the student heart. So if you could touch their heart and emotion, that's where the internal desire will come out. Okay, that thing that could push them actually to learn. A student can describe as intrinsically motivated when she is actively engaged themselves in learning, curiosity, interest, enjoyment, like what Nadia actually doing. She choose a topic that arouse the student interest, so she could see how the student really engage and motivate to discuss about the things because something that very close to them. This is what also Dr. Zulkarnain did also. He make the student see the relevance of the course. So I think by doing this, we are actually trigger the internal motivation of the student. Okay, so if the student have their own internal motivation, they don't need reward or incentive. They don't have to because they like your own children also, right? But sometimes to say that our academic system also, they know they need to study because they need to get 8 A's for their PP3. With that 8 A's, okay, because they can only enter good classes for their form 4. They need also to score good result in SPM because what? Only then they could tailor themselves to a matrix or asasi or whatever diploma program. This is our system, which is more on the extrinsic motivation. But the important thing is actually to immerse in our children that they need to learn for the sake of getting knowledge, and also to our students, which is not easy, you know. So by giving a meaningful learning experience, I believe this how we could make the student have the internal desire to learn things. So we need to provide a meaningful learning experience, or otherwise, I think, which is a struggle for us. The extrinsic motivation is actually motivated by external desire. For the sake of attaining a reward or some punishment. Okay, like our student in education, they are always trying their very hard to get good grade because they want to get the dean list. Because we have like special occasion for dean list every semester. So if you're actually giving assignment, like I always do project for my student. Okay, so in doing a project, there'll be a like I'll show you my timeline. Okay, the whole process, because at the end of the semester they need to come up with a project. So in order to come up with a project from the beginning of the course, you explain to them what the project will be. So the whole so they will need to come and see you a few times, okay, to show you the draft of their project. So what I did was, in order to make them calm and do and give the draft and refine the draft, refine and refine the draft until they get like a good one, you give grade. So the first draft you say, okay, you got C plus for this. They will come tomorrow. They don't want that C plus. They will come tomorrow. They will come tomorrow and say, oh no, this one only B minus. They will come again until at least they get A minus or A. At least A minus or B plus. This is what I did to make them come and to refine the things, because I always have a project, launch a project, and at the end of the session, at the end of the course, we will have an output, a compilation of module. Okay, because I have like no matter my class consists of 100 or 60 students or 30 students, we will always have a project. So at the end of the semester, each of the students will bring one set of module on whatever things from the course. They can use when they go to school for their practicum, and some also said they use that when they posting, and even some of them, because some of our students are actually doing part-time tuition. This they also did say that they use that module for their tuition, so they could see the relevance of doing things. But in order for them to come up with a good module, so they need to refine the things many times, come and refine the things. So, and in order to make yourself easy to actually evaluate and assess their work, you give grade. I always give grade. Okay, look, they will sit in front of you, take like 5 to 10 minutes, scroll out their work, and then say, oh, this one, this is B minus. Okay, go and repair. They will come in 2 days time, 3 days time, because the motivation, the external motivation, is extrinsic motivation very high among all the education. Our educational students are very scared of getting B. B minus is, they don't want that B. They don't want that B. Because they understand the coursework is important, because a part of the whole course. Because they are not sure whether they could score in the exam. So they are working really hard actually to make sure that they will get good grade for their coursework. So at least they don't have like to struggle that much for their final exam. So that's why they are very particular with the grade. If they got that's why for my students, for their final final assignment, they will definitely get the good grade, because coursework is actually a process of because this is their hard, right, to get good grade. So we are also encourage them actually. So by doing this, even a bit tired for us as a lecturer, but seeing them doing and giving their level best to get the knowledge is also a satisfaction for you. So even for the sake of attaining a reward, the dean list, but I'm happy to see that my students are really working very hard for whatever courses that they actually take. Okay. So this is an example of intrinsic motivation, participating in sport because they love badminton. Okay. They love badminton. So they will join the badminton. Even they have to pay for the shuttlecock, they have to pay for the court, they don't mind. Even they have to get a good racket badminton, because in order to have a good game, you need to have also a good racket, and you also need to have a good shuttlecock, quality shuttlecock. They don't mind spending money for that, because they have the enjoying. They really enjoy in badminton. Cleaning up room because you like tidying up. There are people who don't care about that, but there are people who really care about this, because she don't like to see untidy room. Word puzzle, because you find a challenge doing the word puzzle activity, right? Because our children like to do this, because when you complete the thing, the sense of the satisfaction. So this one is intrinsic motivation. You want to do this because the moment you could actually combine all the puzzles, yes, yes, another yes, another yes, and another yes. And studying a subject you find fascinating, you love the subject because the lecturer could show you the relevance of those topics. Because you could see the importance of this topic to you, not only to you for the purpose to get grade, because you understand the importance of studying it is because for the sake of you as a knowledge, right? Okay, extrinsic motivation, participating in sport to win award, right? Cleaning room because somebody, your mother asks you, this is what I have problem with my children, even my 3 children are girls, you know. I need also all the time to remind them, tidy the room, you have to always check their room, their drawer, their locker, you know. I'm giving you 30 minutes now, 9 until 9:30, you need to rearrange your clothes in your drawer. 30 minutes, not done, I'll throw away the things. This is what I have to do. Every 2 weeks, I need to check their cupboard, their drawers and everything. Okay. Competing in a contest to win a scholarship, this is because they have an external motivation factors that push them actually to work for it. This is extrinsic motivation. So if you do a reading, which is important, the intrinsic motivation or extrinsic motivation? I think both. Intrinsic important, extrinsic also motivation. The dean list is also important. It drives the student to actually participate, actively involved, motivating in actually studying the subject because they want to get this dean list at the end of the semester, right? So if you ask me which is important, some said extrinsic motivation is not so good because they are not doing this for the sake of the knowledge. But to say, I think nowadays world, what to do. And also in order to motivate your student, if this could help you, why not, right? Okay, this is what I mean by RCS. So I hope that we could actually apply this in our life, in our teaching and learning process after this. This is, if you Google, they have a lot of model of motivation. But I always, I like color. Okay, I use this one of my variable is my PhD thesis. Okay, color, things that could motivate the student. If you have this 4 component, you have to gain attention from your student. You have to make things relevant, like what Dr. Zulkarnain said just now. The student could feel satisfaction and confidence. So these are the 4 components by color that could enhance student motivation. So what are the 4 components? The activities, okay. The activity should accordingly to student interest. So the activity should also provide choice and variety of activities and variety of choices, use different modalities, concrete tools, incorporate different paths to learning goals, things that could get student attention. Okay, the first component by color is attention. Whatever things that you want to put in your lesson, the teaching tools, the method you are using, it should grab the student attention. The second thing is relevant. You must make sure that you could make your student understand and see the relevance of your content to them. Build on prior knowledge and skill. This is like what Dr. Justin did just now, okay, asking the student, bring new idea to bridge concept, okay, because he is actually sharing his experience and also asking experience from previous student. This is what I always did also. Sometimes in my lecture, I will call seniors to share their experience. Okay, because our student need to go for practical teaching. Okay, sometimes one slot in my lecture for the 30 or 40 minutes, I will call seniors, the seniors who had just passed through the practical teaching, to come and share their experience to my student, to the third year student. So they could see the relevance of why they need to learn things in this course this semester. Because they need to use all the skill and knowledge from this paper in order for them to successfully undergo their practical teaching. Like what Dr. Justin said also, he actually using the senior student in the class, those who have diplomas and whatever, to actually share their experience. So the student could actually see the relevance of this course to them. present real world connection. Okay, in my life, in our setting, because I'm teaching in education, we always come back and connect back to what happened in class today. Always telling them, ask them to actually flashback their time during schools. Okay, what are the good criteria of a good teacher, criteria of a not a good teacher. So by reflecting themselves, they could see relevant of those skills and knowledge that they need to learn from this course. I think they have the motivation actually to learn. Okay, so the second thing is to make the things relevant to them. The first thing is to make things, activities, learning tools grab the student attention. This is by Keller. The third thing is satisfaction. Okay, we have, that's why we have the course outline. Okay, always in my first lecture, I will start by asking the student to actually download whatever, bring their course outline. And you tell them this is what they will learn throughout the 15 weeks of lectures. The first week. What we are doing actually, we are actually chunking the content of the whole knowledge. The course is about Malay literature teaching method. Okay, the whole course is about Malay literature teaching method. So I'm telling my student, okay, the first few lectures, you are actually, we will discuss about the document, curriculum standard sekolah menengah, document standard curriculum, the curriculum of the subject, okay, from the kementerian. We have the booklet, right? Every subject has their own curriculum. So they need to master the curriculum. They need to understand. If they understand the curriculum, they can deliver the subject better. So the first few things, you need to understand the curriculum. Okay, the second part, okay, when you understand the curriculum, only then we can go to the second part, how to deliver the curriculum. So how to deliver the curriculum is what are actually the teaching strategies. Okay, if the teaching strategies, you are actually encompass this, the learning theories, teaching technique, teaching aid and everything. Okay, so you need to chunk the lectures, telling the student from the first week till the end of the. Okay, so this is what you will do. Okay, the second part is about you know the curriculum, you know the content. Okay, so you should know how to deliver the content. Okay, that one is the second part. It will take about 2-3 lectures. Okay, and then the third part is actually about the assessment. How to assess the learning. So by chunking the lesson, the student could see, oh, this is what they will learn throughout the whole course. You are giving the whole ideas about the course is about what. And because I call the seniors to actually come and share their experience, they could see why they need to understand the curriculum, why they need to have like good teaching strategies, why they need to have a skill on how to assess a student. Because the seniors are telling them, bila masuk sekolah macam ni, kelas tak sama macam what we are actually imagining now in a lecture hall is really different in a real situation, blah, blah, blah. So by calling the seniors, by telling the experience, and we are actually helping the student to see, all right? Discuss assessment requirement. Okay, I always, when you are giving project or assignment to the student, you need to clarify to the student, make them alert, make them understand what is the importance of this assignment. So they do the assignment with the awareness why this assignment is important, not for the sake of completing the assignment and get grade. They will do the assignment because this is not because they need to do, because they have the intrinsic motivation. They know the relevance of this assignment to them. Okay, student friendly learning environment, satisfaction. You need to create this, like what few of our friends also tell us, like Dr. Prof. Azhar, right? They 60% of the learning process is actually entertaining the student. They should feel comfortable, respectable in a class, so they feel enjoy in a learning process. So easy for us actually to get them engaged, and this is one way to actually motivate them to actually stay the whole 15 weeks of lecture. Remember, for one course, we only meet the student 2 times, 2 hours lectures and 1 hour tutorial. And they are also taking other papers, right? For other courses. So it's not that easy to actually maintain their motivation and engagement throughout our course, because at the same time they are actually taking other courses. So we don't want our student actually to compare. I love to go to this lecture because the lecture is more engaging and enjoying. I am more motivated to go to this lecture, not to this lecture. So we have no choice to say. We have no choice. We have to make a choice where we have to make a plan where the student love and like to go to our class because they feel very enjoyable. very enjoyable. Because they know they could learn many and they could also experience many meaningful learning experience throughout our class. Okay, so we have to create this a very student friendly learning environment, and we need also to facilitate student learning. Our role is actually as a facilitator, no more educator. Educator in 4.0 is no more a teacher. We are not the only one who actually giving knowledge. We are not like burung kakak tua, telling everything and the student will follow. No, there's no more a system like that. Nowadays approach is a more on student oriented strategies, right? So we actually empower the student for the teaching learning strategies. So I will show you what I did, okay, to empower my learning, how I facilitate my student learning. And the last one, according to Keller, is confidence. We need to plan an activity and we need to also be consistent with reward, okay. For our adult learner, you don't need to bring space and everything. At least you could say, yes, pandai pun, boleh pun, kan betul tu. That's good enough. Okay, because I could see my first daughter when she was in her form 4, form 5, she will happily come back and tell you, Mama, cikgu kata dia hari ni good. Even your small children also. Now my daughter is already in her second year, going to be her second year. Even in campus when her first year also, this is what she told me. Sometimes she will call you, even text you in the afternoon. Mama, tadi lecturer dia kata, bagus kata my Sarah. She happy with that. So even a word, it make difference to a children. It make difference to a student. So we need to actually practice this. Say a good word. Pandai pun. Because I'm a mother to my student. Sometimes I could just tepuk them at the back. Pandai pun. Macam tu lah. Cek, pak belakang dia. Right? You don't even hurt them lah. Say, good. Pandai pun. Very good. Clever. So be consistent with the reward. You could see the student motive. So the next time around, they will voluntarily put up their hand and assist you. If you keep saying good words to, especially to those who are considered like yang hardcore punya kan, yang macam rasa bagus in a class, right? So this is what you need to do, okay, to cater the interest of the student. Promote equity and fairness. This is something also important, okay, because sorry to say also, we are actually teaching in university. We are teaching in a system where in front of us, a student from various races, right? We have the Chinese, the Malays, and the Indian. We need to be fair because the student could actually observe and they are actually spreading the mouth and telling the story. The teacher, the lecturer is actually biased. The lecturer is actually biased. We always hear this, sometimes the student will come and tell you, lecturer ni bias doctor, blah, 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 blah. If you are quite close with your student, you will get all those stories in your ear, but nothing that we can do, right? So we have to promote equity and fairness among all students. Remember, our good deeds is actually to be a good educator, right? Whatever good things we do here is for our hereafter life, right? Whatever good thing we do here, inshallah, whatever religion we are in now, our God will reward us with a good ganjaran, right? Individually praise your children. Yes, this is something that you need to do. Yes, at least say good word, good. And even sometimes, because we are actually dealing with an adult learner, we are actually allow our student. We have also our Facebook, we have also our WhatsApp platform, right? The students sometimes could ask your question, could actually, it's a platform to actually to discuss. This is what I always do. Whenever student ask question, okay, we will entertain the answers. Okay, sometimes I don't straightforward give the answers. Sometimes I will always ask the other friends to actually give their opinion. Okay, and then you will start send all these emojis in your phone. Good, muah, whatever things. So you will motivate them. This is how to motivate my students. So even in a WhatsApp, it's a full of love and thumbs up and like this, full of this emoji in my lectures, in my WhatsApp group communication. So when you say good to one student, you could see that the student will also respond. Okay, but when you say good to one time, they always want to do again and again because you are actually you realize you are actually boosting up the student confidence. So this is the first component by Keller that you need to do in order to motivate your student is actually to boost up the student confidence. Okay, individually praise students for progress, whatever progress. Just sometimes a small emoji, one or two words is enough for our student as an adult learner. Okay, so I think we complete our first learning objective. So hopefully you understand what is the concept of engagement and motivation. We need to engage so student willingly to participate in our lesson. We need to also motivate the student for them to actually come and join and feel the inner, from the inner side. They learn because they could see the relevant, the important of those things. Okay. And then I'm showing you the color. So for next round, for this coming semester, in order to plan activities for your class, remember of this. You need to do things that could caught the student attention. You need to make the student see the relevant of the course. Okay, you need to do things that make the student feel satisfied with the course, and also things, activities that could boost up the student confidence. If you could do this whole 4 throughout the 15 weeks, inshallah, you could enhance and boost the student motivation. Okay, the relationship between engagement and motivation. Which comes first? Dr. Rose Niza, which comes first? Engagement or motivation? Dr. Rose Niza?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, Dr. Fazla. Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Engagement and motivation. Well, I think for me, the engagement first, because first and foremost, engaging what is going important now.
So when they engage, only then they are motivated. Is it, Dr. Rosniza? Okay. Let's listen to others. Nurul Shakirin, which come first? You see both together. Nurul Shakirin. Nurul Shakirin Muhammad Hassan. Kirin, is it you? Okay. Kirin? Azam, let's listen to the engineering people. Dr. Azam, sorry again. Dr. Azam. Dr. Azam. Who's on the line? Kirin? Dr. Azam?
Yeah, Dr. Fazila.
Yes.
Sorry, what's the question?
Relationship between engagement and motivation, which comes first? The engagement or the motivation, or both, or what? In your opinion?
Right, with my tak banyak pun pengalaman ni. But then I guess Dr. Fazila and all the participants, we should have the engagement first. So that we need to build the rapport first between the lecturers or the teachers with the students. Then afterwards, as we say as Dr. Fazila said, that we need to familiarize with their names, a good name calling lah, and not the bad one. Then they will feel secure and friendly to us, right? Then from there we can grasp, dia nak kata hati tu bukan hati jugalah, tapi maksudnya kita boleh pegang dia lah. Dan juga daripada situ we can start to comfortably to motivate them.
Okay, good. This is all right. Who wants to say something? Anybody want to say something? I heard like there's a voice at the back. Okay. Engagement and motivation, which comes first? It's like egg and chicken. It was me, right? The chicken said it was me, right? The egg said it was me, right? So which comes first? The motivation and which comes first? I asked my daughter, are you engaged first, then you motivate, or you motivate, then you engage? While preparing this slide, my daughter macam dua-dua je mama. This is what my daughter answers lah. Okay. Relationship, okay. together with motivation, engagement is viewed in the literature as very important for enhance the learning and outcomes of students. So to say, in other words, to say from my readings, the two components is equally important in the teaching and learning process. Two equally learning process. So this will be the picture that I think better than this picture. The chicken cannot claim, and the egg also cannot claim. They are the first. Actually, we don't know also. We also don't know the answers. I'm not a biology people. I'm not from the medical school. So from my point of view, the chicken and egg, if we could still fighting about which come first, we cannot find an answers. So make it fair to the both. The two of you important. So the engagement and motivation, it should come together. When you engage, the motivation come. When you motivate, the engagement come. All right. So what comes first, I also cannot give definite answer which comes first, because when I read some of the review said there's no one article solidly said that engagement comes first, then motivation then comes first, then engagement. Most articles are talking about these two, engagement and motivation. All right, so we need to engage and motivate students because these two components are important condition for active learning. Okay, and also siapa yang motivate, they have an effort to engage in the class. Why we need to do, why CJE have this session, the engagement and motivation, because if the engagement and motivation, we could actually, this will be the end of the product, the student performance, the positive behavior that we want from the students. We could also promoting thoughts. We could also have a productive and conducive learning environment and many more. If you go to the Google Scholars and just type motivation and engagement, lots of articles saying that these two are interrelated each other. Okay, so now we understand about the second objective, which is the relationship between engagement and motivation. They are interconnected, okay, each other. Okay, and let's see what our students say. Okay, this is I had like some I did some Google form and throw to my students. Okay, this is the answers of my student. Okay, the student perspective. Okay, this is, so you could also do this before you start your lecture this semester. You ask the student the expectation, whatever things you ask the student what they want to have, what type of learning strategies and whatever thing. Okay, and then you can start working from there. So itu yang kita akan cater to the student needs because we are actually asking them. Okay, this is from my student view lah. Ikhlas tak ikhlas is I cannot value that. Alright, 97.1%, about 100 student response to this. Okay, 100 plus student from my few tutorial classes this semester. 97.1% response they are actually engaged, and 100% told me that they are highly motivated. So even non-F to F class, by doing the online class also they are also motivated. But sometimes to say we are quite lucky also to have to teach the student from educational because they came with a good grade either from matrix or SPM. We receive a student with 4 for the STP, matrix 4 for the STP, 3.75 is I think considered like low grade. We are actually when we do interview we are quite very hard actually to select the student because the grade are 3.98, 3.92, 3.85, 3. Even 3.75 very few. So we are actually got a cream of cream student. They are academically they are good, but in terms of motivation and engagement, this is something that we need to push during our teaching and learning process. Okay, so they said they are highly motivated, and I'm also agree with them because whatever work that you give during this COVID semester, they can do it. Even those with a very low band of internet, we have our own way actually to help them. Okay, so far okay. Okay, what are the student response? Okay, this is actually their response from the Google form. Okay, why do lecturers need to engage me? I ask them because they said so I be more proactive. I ask why. I don't ask about what the strategies that your lecturers are using and everything. Okay, I don't ask about what are things that asking about what they feel and their view, nothing to do with lecturers. Okay, so they said, okay, they be more proactive, they'll be more committed towards their own learning, they'll be more creative, they will stay focused, can boost their self-confidence, can boost their potential, can make the teaching and learning environment more conducive. It could create an effective and productive learning environment. This is what they told me, monitoring. So by doing the engagement activity, they said that lecturer can also monitor the student progress. Instead of just giving lectures, we start the class 8 o'clock, we finish the class 10 o'clock, give the lecture throughout the whole 2 hours, you cannot monitor the student progress. But by doing a project, you could see the student progress. You could actually evaluate your students. You could also assess your students, which is good in if okay, let's say you are actually doing you are teaching language like Puan Rohaida, Kirin, and also Nadia, teaching in language school. By doing activities in the class, okay, by doing activities that engage the student, you could evaluate, you could assess the student language development, right? By engaging the student, they could also share ideas instead of you are just giving lectures yourself. Okay, by doing things that engage the student, sharing ideas, it could promote also to lifelong learning, enhancing communication and collaboration skill. This is what my student told me, okay, from the Google form. Then why lecturers need to motivate me? So I have a self-discipline. Some of the response, enjoyment in the class, spirit, I have more spirits to learn, okay, so I could stay focused, I have passion in learning, perseverance, and also it could boost my confidence, okay. And externally, what we can do actually to boost, what external element that lecturers can do to actually boost my motivation? Lots of answers on good words. You need to say good words to the student. Enough good word. Even that's one student said, even one word enough. Say good word to me. Okay. This is external, extrinsic motivation, the enlist, the token, okay, game. These are the things that could boost the motivation. They need games. They are actually with the game all the time. So that's why avoid of giving lectures. This is why also our children don't like to go to school, because the teachers are actually teaching. Most of the time at home, our children is actually playing games. Okay, they are with the gadget and playing games, things that actually fast moving and changing games, right? Fast moving and changing. This is what they are actually dealing nowadays life. Unfortunately, when they go to school, the teachers are actually wearing the same clothes, like myself today is all green from top to bottom, okay, and then talking in front of the class with the same tone of voice. Hari ini kita akan belajar at home. They are actually dealing with a gadget, playing in a game with a very fast moving, fast changing. That's why they can maintain playing with the gadget for 2 hours, our children, right? But for in school, they cannot even stand for 5 minutes. It same goes also for our lecture. So imagine yourself, just the student are actually on Facebook and everything, Instagram, the things are changing, viewing the profile Instagram of A, B, C, D, E, okay, they could switch one to another. And then we are actually standing and giving lectures for 2 hours with same tone of voice, with same presentation of ourselves, same color of tudung, baju and pants, same way of giving lectures. How could you maintain their focus and attention? This is the challenge that we facing now, because they are actually dealing with another thing that more interesting to them. But in a class, they are actually forced to actually stay in a class because they need to get good grade, because they need to graduate. They need to graduate because they want to find a good job. They don't see, but the other side of the life, they are actually have lot of things that entertain them. That's why we need, in order to make ourselves relevant, this is what we need to do to make the student understand and see the relevance of the class. Like what Prof. Azhar also said, we need to actually entertain the student. Like what Nadia said also, we need to bring up a topic that arouse the student interest and curiosity. Only then we could make them actually stay for that 2 hours in our lecture. Okay, and also inspiring stories. Like what Dr. Justin said also, call upon seniors to actually share story. This is also what I did. I called seniors actually to share what they did previously in this course last semesters. And also some of the students said they would love to listen inspiring story by the lecturers itself and also by the seniors itself. Like myself, I always told my student, I was born here in USM. I did my degree here in USM. I did my master here in USM. So you don't bluff about USM with me. Every single thing, every single corner USM, I very understand. So this one thing I always repeatedly tell my student. You don't play with me. USM is my, if they keep giving excuses and everything, I said, I was also from USM. Okay, I was also from USM. Now you are accredited with 130. Last time I was 160. Last time, now you got about 5,000 K plus per semester under your PTPTN. We only got about 2,000, excluding the fees, hostel fees and juran fees, our faculty fees. So basically, we have in hand about 1,200. So this is, I keep repeatedly tell my students. So if they keep give reason, I say, these people can do this, these people can do this. I was also from this system. So now I'm standing in front of you as a lecturer. What I can do? I have no internet, I have no one of the things that I always keep, because I also from the USM, so I also from the same system. Okay, so they love to actually hear a story, inspiring good stories from seniors and also from lecturers itself. Okay, so this is what the students say. Okay, and how lecturers can engage and motivate me. Okay, they said quizzes and Q&A during the whole lesson, like what some of you, Dr. Zulkarnain, I think this is what he did, and also Dr. Prof. Azhar, right? The whole Q&A session throughout the whole class. Okay, brainstorming ideas, like Dr. Azam said, and also Dr. Justin said, the first few minutes, okay, asking about your opinion, active interaction between lecturer and student, implement various methods, okay, not only lecture, but you are also doing many things, hands-on activity, okay, plan an activity that involve all student, not only small portion of student, group discussion, face-to-face and non-face-to-face. Even you have lectures, you also have other platform that you can communicate with the student. It means it not end up in that 2 hours, but they can still contact you in other way. They don't have to see you, but that I think, I believe this is what we are actually doing. We have the Facebook, we have also the WhatsApp, right? So this is something that students love, because if they have problem, they can quickly ask you, and they will quickly get answers from you. Okay. If task in the last 15 minutes of teaching, and then this one of one response, I got this only one response. He wants the lecture to actually give task at the last 15 minutes, okay? Because I think maybe because they cannot focus the last 15 minutes and they're actually preparing for another lecture. So the task at last 15 minutes is like enhancement for what they have learned before. And task according to cognitive level, if according to Piaget and Vygotsky, we always need to actually challenge the student. Okay, HOTS activity, if we are actually giving HOTS activity, the student said they need guidance from the lecturer. If you are actually asking them to do project and whatever, you also need to have a room or place, a room for them to actually share and ask questions and discuss with you. Avoid pressuring students. They don't like this. Remember, they're an adult learner. They don't like pressure. Okay, like we don't like pressure. Okay, lecturers need to show that they're also highly committed and motivated. We also need. So to say, if we ask students to do a project, we also should show that we are also have interest in the project that we ask them to do. So we have to make ourselves available for them actually to meet us, okay, to discuss the project with. Okay, we are actually using many other platforms. You cannot see me in my office. You can also text me. We have like group discussion through Facebook or WhatsApp and everything, Telegram and so on. You need also to show that you are highly committed and motivated. This is what the student request also. And again, sharing a successful story. This is what the student told me, how lecturers can engage and motivate me, okay? I can just Google how to engage and motivate, but I think instead of Googling and reading from the text, let listen to what our students say. So I would also propose to you to actually have like very simple Google form and post to your student on your first week of your lecture. So you can have like some ideas on what are the activities that you want me to do. Okay. And then from there, you put reverse psychology. I tell you what I mean by reverse psychology. Okay. So then we go to the third objective, plan strategies to engage and motivate student in the teaching and learning process. Okay. So remember, our goal is actually to make our student love learning. How? Right? So this is from Saidina Ali bin Abi Talib. I love this quote actually. Didiklah anak mengikut zamannya. You have to remember we are born in the 70s, 60s and 70s, but we are teaching a student which are born in the era 20, right? 20th century student. But we are born 30, 40 years back. So we cannot teach them according to our time, last time, cannot. Even my mother always told me, jangan ajar anak macam mana dia ajar saya. Even my mother, she don't even have degree or diploma. A full-time housewife, this is what she always remind me. Jangan didik, jangan buat macam mak buat kat saya. Dia kata, ni mereka ni dah hidup zaman lain. So my mother also inspired me with the word. So I have to, entertain your daughter. That's why last time, when our time, your mother can cook whatever they want, put on the table, and we can just eat. Nowadays, students know. If you have chicken, you have to ask them, okay, I bought chicken today. Okay, what you want me to cook? Okay, A say I want rendang, B say I want ayam cicap, C say I want sambal daging merah, masak merah. So you need also to discuss among the three of them. Okay, exactly what you want. Okay, this time, okay, what you want. If you cook curry, the moment they sit on the table, looking at the curry, say, okay, mama, I don't want to eat. Or if they eat later. To say nowadays, we really need to cater the needs of the children. At least I will ask opinion. And then I can force my children actually to eat. I said, you want chicken curry, right? So I cook chicken curry already, right? Okay, we promise, right? This time around we eat ayam masak kicap, right? Next time around I will put rendang for you, right? You really have to nego with your children. Okay, so this is also happen to students nowadays. We really need to didik the anak is according to the time now. Okay, why? Nowadays is people are talking about 21st century education. The forces of 21st century education, because we need to fulfill the student, okay, in order for them to be exemplary graduates, they need the skill of collaboration. They could think critically, they are also creative, and they can communicate. This is the forces of education. This is the forces of 21st century education. The forces, the criteria that the student, our students should meet these 4 criteria in order for them to competitive in the market world. Okay, this is the forces of education. So in order to produce a graduate with these forces, we have no choice. We have to actually engage and motivate them in a 3 dimension. Cognitively, we need to engage them. That's why we need to use all the strategies that at par or higher than their own ability, their behavioral, also their emotional. They really learn. They need to learn because they want to, because they could see the relevant, the important of the thing. They could also show a good behavior. Okay, we need to do this in order to produce a student with the 4 C criteria. So this is the behavioral. They could show a good behavior, attendance, involvement, okay? And they don't show a disruptive or negative behavior. This is they engage and motivate behavior, really. Cognitively, because they are able to take whatever learning task that we are actually giving them. That's why we need to give, okay, this is the level of the student, okay? So if you are actually giving tasks to the student, you should give something higher. If you give something higher, you actually challenge your student. If you are giving tasks lower of their ability, they don't have like motivation to do this. Alah, senangnya macam ni je ke, okay, kan? If at par with the student also, you are not doing things that challenge their cognitive level. So this is what we need to do. We have to do things a bit higher than their ability. So by doing projects, discussion, Q&A, we are helping our student actually to climb up to the higher level that we plan for them. Okay. Okay, this is the cognitive motivation and engagement. This is from the perspective emotional in the engagement and motivation. They experience effective reactions such as interest, enjoyment, sense of belonging. They feel the lesson is really meaningful to them. Okay, so these are some actionable strategies to increase motivation and engagement. Okay, establish relationship. Most of you are actually telling this. Dr. Azam also telling this. Prof. Azhar also telling this. Dr. Zulkarnain also telling this. Nadia, Rohaida also telling this. Establish relationship. That's why we ask the student first few minutes asking question and everything. Strong relationship, so instructional process seems to be more interactive and meaningful. You respect them, they respect you. You like them, they like you. So everything easy. Okay. So the first thing is you need to establish relationship. Ask students what they expect from you. Make sure you meet their expectation. I'll show you what I did during my first week. Okay. Ask students what they expect from you. Okay. You can see this as a weapon throughout your teaching and learning process. This is what all you want. You can keep telling them, this is what you want, right? I ask you from your first week. You tell me this. This is what I'm doing now because this is what you want. I use this as a weapon because I did in my first lecture. Okay. I show you after this. Okay. Create authentic learning experience instead of abstract challenges. Okay, so I will always propose and promote the project-based learning. You can do project in whatever your course. Okay, ensure course material relate to student lives and highlight ways learning can be applied in real life situation. So, in whatever topic course you are actually taking, you need to from the lectures, tutorial to the real life experience. They could see this. Okay, they could see the relevant this topic that you discussed in lecture while doing the tutorial. They could see also, and we could actually give a meaningful learning real life experience. So they could see the how this actually course is actually related to their life. And this is what Dr. Justin said just now. Okay. Build on prior knowledge and draw clear connection. Also Dr. Zulkarnain, right? You need to ask previous and connect to what you are actually teaching now. You make a bridge between previous knowledge and coming knowledge. Okay. A bridge. So they could see. Kalau kita boleh ingat Wardina punya iklan susu. Long time ago. Kan? Iklan susu dia, sudu jatuh, I can't remember exactly the iklan. But there's a picture of otak bersambung-sambung, right? So from the iklan is saying that pembelajaran akan berlaku apabila kanak-kanak boleh melihat perkaitan. This actually happened in our class. The only lesson can only occur when the student can connect their previous knowledge and their coming knowledge. So that's why you need to have a bridge, the previous knowledge and the coming knowledge. Okay, only then the learning will happen. That's why we need to have like 5-10 minutes for our introduction to ask their previous lesson. Okay, or to connect the topic today with the environment or things that relate that happen in whatever happened today. So they could see the relationship, they could bridge, the learning will happen. Exactly what Wardina punya iklan susu long time ago. Dia tunjukkan pembelajaran akan berlaku apabila sel-sel otak berhubung. That's what he mean by sel-sel otak berhubung. They could connect the previous and the coming lesson. See, if they cannot connect, we start the lesson, they tak ada, they don't have the previous knowledge. How you need to explain to them things? Okay, like we learn new thing, exactly new thing, out of nowhere. Tiba-tiba dengar, it's quite struggle actually. Okay. Allow students to have some degree of control over learning. Somebody said this just now also, kan? Tanya dia ni kan, ada benda kita bagi dia buat sendiri kan? Can be done in any numbers of ways, from giving student choice between different assignment, minimize adult supervision over group project, kan? Letting student monitor and evaluate their own progress. This is what we can do. Okay, I showed you. Okay, continue. Assign challenging but achievable task for student. Okay, PBL. This is by through the PBL is a project-based learning. Okay, challenging, like I said, we should actually ask a task which is higher than their ability. So they will work would achieve that, okay, to complete those tasks. Okay. Design project that allows students to share new knowledge with others. This is basically, that's what you need project-based learning. Projects are more engaging when students share what they are learning, okay, collaborative, and they because they are need to do things in a group. Okay, why project-based learning? Okay. Oh, I have this diagram. Oh my god. Oh, alamak. I have this one diagram. Wait. I could show this. Oh, sorry. Why project-based learning? You see this class? Could you see the diagram? Okay. Why project-based learning? Okay, because if you are actually doing the project-based learning, you could actually encompass the whole three learning fields, the cognitivist, the constructivist, and the behaviorist. This is project-based learning, okay? Because when you do project, you will, these are actually the 21st learning strategies. It could change, okay? We have like 20 over learning strategies, okay? If you ask the student to do a project, they have to do the inquiry process because they need to, what they need to do, how they want to do it. Okay. They need to work cooperatively because the project, they need to work as a team. They need contextual. Contextual, it means they are actually using things around them in a context, okay? And assess sendiri, they are actually getting all the information, doing the things by themselves. So by doing a project, you are actually not only limited to these four approaches, there are a lot of approaches, constructivist, meaningful learning, and you are actually embedding all the three learning theories, the cognitivist, okay, you are cognitively challenge your student. Behaviorist, they will show a good behavior during the project. You could see, you could also assess their behavior. And constructivists, they are actually constructing the project themselves. You are just evaluating and assessing the things, okay? So that's why I prefer project very much. Okay. Okay. The diagram should be here. Oh yeah, here. Okay. Okay, let me show you. Okay. These are our third objective, okay, plan strategies. So these are few actionable strategies. I share with you already, few actionable strategies. Okay, I have like 30 more minutes. Let me show you my way of doing things, okay? Okay, this is me and my students. Okay, we do things together. Okay, this is one of my course. This is PGP 225. Kedah Mengajar Sastra Melayu. This is the course outline. This is the learning outcome. They should know the theory, approach, and methods. Okay. They should also, at the end of the lesson, of the course, they should come up with a lesson plan and demonstrate. They have a lesson plan, 1 hour of teaching. They could come up with a plan, 1 hour of teaching, and they should demonstrate. This is what we do in tutorial class. So all the friends are as a student, they need to sit in front and teach. This is what we do in our tutorial, okay? This is the ceri pendekatan and kaedah. This is what we learn from the lecture. So one of the assignment, this is what they need to do. Okay, they have to come up with a lesson plan for 1 hour teaching, and then they need to demonstrate. All the class members are actually they have to play a role as a student. And the last one is they have to plan and they have to implement one activity. This is a school project. Okay, so this is my my class. Okay, in form 1 my course, Kedah Mengajar Sastra Melayu. Okay, constructive alignment, the input, the process, the output. Okay, whatever you give them, the process, the output, at the end of the lesson, they should achieve this learning goal. All right. So I'm giving, so the inputs are the lectures, the tutorial activities, right? Then the process are things that they are doing throughout the course is is the assignment and also the project and also the output at the end of the semester, what they give. Okay, the clear cut is actually the result, but at the end is actually the report of the project, and themselves is the reflection from the student. Okay, this is my course. Okay, my course I have 2 lectures. Oh, sorry, spelling mistake, and also assignment. Okay, for lectures I empower teaching, and also I have an outdoor classroom in order to engage and motivate my students. For assignment, I have project and I have module. So for the project, they not only have to complete the project at the end of the semester and complete the project itself, but there's always a product. They end up with a product. Okay. Okay. This is always what I did for my first lecture. Okay. This is what I call as reverse psychology. So this is my first week. Okay. I'm briefing of the course and also the tutorial and also the project. Okay, the project. First week of 2 hours, my first 2 hours lecture. Pendaftaran yang bahagian tugasan tutorial. Okay, this is what we do after this, but I'm briefing. Okay, and this is what we do. Okay, ekspektasi. Okay, this is my course. Expectation. The expectation from this course. What they expect from me. They need to write the answers. Okay, they need to write the answers. Expectation. Unfortunately, all the evidence are actually in my office. I do this at home. So I cannot get all the answers from my students. What they expect from this course, okay? And reflection from previous course. What they learn from previous course, they might need to use to this course, okay? So they need to, go back and think back what they have learned. And I will start asking, okay, what you learn from, because I know what courses that they took before, all right? And because they are actually going for their practical on the semester 8. So this is what I did on my first lecture. Ask them what they have learned, ask them what they want for this semester, and telling them, okay, you are going for your practicum on the semester 8. So you see how important these courses are. I'm actually giving you all the skills and knowledge that you need to have to prepare yourself for the practical for the semester 8. This is on their semester 5. 6, yes. 5 and 6, they need to take 2 teaching method semester on their third year, semester 1 and semester 2. Teaching method 1, teaching method 2. The whole third year is actually taking the teaching method courses. Okay, so they have to take teaching method courses for their major paper and minor paper. On semester 7, they need to complete all the other papers. Semester 8, they will go for their practical teaching. So in semester 3, they are actually matured enough. So I make them understand why they really need to do all things in this semester, why they need to do all the tasks and also the assignment. Okay, so this is basically I did in my first week of lectures. So I use them all the time because expectation this course. They need to write what they expect from me. They want me to do this, they want me to do this, they want me to do this, they want to learn this, they want to know this. So every time in the lecture, I will always go, this is what you want, right? You tell me this is what you want. These are the things that you want me to do. These are the things that you want to learn, right? Okay, this is why we are actually doing this. Because this is what you want, not I want. That's what I mean by reverse psychology. Okay, I keep repeatedly telling them, this is what you told me from your first week. You want this, you want to know this, you want to learn this, you want me to do this. This is why I'm doing this. This is why you have to do this project. This is why you have to do this assignment. So, mereka nak kata apa? Betul lah, mereka yang nak kan, macam kita cakap kan, nak kita makan. Kata nak ayam kicap kan, mama dah masak ayam kicap kan, makan nasi sekarang sebab dah masak ayam kicap. So, I use that reverse psychology. Because kita dah ada MOU from the first week of lectures. Okay? Okay, the second one is actually throughout the course, I empower teaching. This is my course outline. The week 5, the week 6, the week 7. Some of the topic, I don't give lectures. Instead, I pass to the student. ET is empower teaching. Theory pembelajaran, we have got behaviorism, cognitivism, and constructivism. They learn basic of this theory in their first years. Strategy and approaches in 21st century. There are actually 19 strategies in the document, the Sukata. Okay, and pendekatan dalam approaches in the teaching Malay literature. These are the things that they can easily grab from the internet. So instead of I'm giving lecture of this, they are actually giving lectures of this. So because we have all the platform actually because they are actually divided into group, you have like tutorial group, you have all the things, you just arrange. Okay, so grouping, so identify topic for each group. They need to come and consult you. Okay, they need to prepare all the slide and PowerPoint to come and see you. 2 times refine the drafts and then present the lecture. So some of the lecture, I don't give lecture. Instead, student give lecture. So I said, it must be very concise, precise. Okay, okay. Let's say the A will talk about behaviorist approach. The group B will talk about constructivist approach. The group C will talk about connectivist approach. So we have scheduled in a lecture where this group will present the topic and the rest of the class of the listen. So when preparing all those slides, that's how we finally end up at the end of the semester, we have a module from student to a student. So they know that they are only not to only present, but at the end we will compile all the lectures, all the notes from all the presentation, and I ask them to actually write their names. Pendekatan behaviorist, Fadzila Amza, Azam Taufik, Wahaida Idris. Compile. So at the end of the semester, we have like one module about all of lectures. Because if I have to give all lectures about this, it takes me 2 semesters to complete giving lectures about behaviorism, cognitivism, constructivism. I always say that you have like 5 to 10 minutes to present in a class. Okay, I want you to actually simplify in an infographic, make it very concise and precise. You need to explain to the class. Okay, so this is what actually I did. That's how I empower teaching. So which is actually good because you don't have to give lecture all the time. And because you are actually giving the same topic every semester, right? So let's leave this some to your students. Let them do. And trust me, they love it very much. I said that's not so much lectures. I actually giving opportunity to the student to stand in front of the lecture hall and giving lectures. You trust me, even you are actually giving them 5 minutes, sometimes they take more than 5 minutes. They say, Doktor, teruja, seronok. This is what I did. I empower the teaching. But in order to make sure that they are giving right information, that's why they need to come and consult you all the time. So sometimes, okay, for the first time, we need to actually sit and discuss, consult. But maybe the later time, they sometimes can just discuss to the WhatsApp. Say, okay, just snap pictures and send through WhatsApp. It takes a lot of your time actually. Entertaining your student, like what Prof. Azhar said. I really need to entertain your student. But if you did this, you will fine tune. I did this for every semester, so I fine tune. I know from the week 3 to week 11 or 12 is really a hectic week for me. But I really enjoy doing this because I could see my progress, my student progress. Okay, this is what I mean by empower teaching. Okay, this is right. Okay, empower teaching, and we also do the outer classroom. This is what I mean empower teaching. Though they will learn by themselves. Okay, this is I'm calling the seniors actually to share the experience. Okay, this is the student. Cannot take so many photos and put inside. This is the empower teaching. The student do the teaching. Okay, they are actually doing the effort, and we are actually doing the outdoor classroom also. We are doing this outside. You can see all the board. They are actually taking themselves. We have board asking permission from the school. Okay, so every time start lecture, you don't worry. My lecture start at actually 10 to 12. By 9 something, there'll be a group, the group that will present will go to your room. Doctor, I want a key to take all the things. Ni semua, they bring their own tika to sit on the rumput. They do everything. You will come exactly at 10 o'clock and sit at the back and watch. And at the end of the, sometimes in the middle, you need to interrupt. Okay, to define, to refine back all the concept, misconception by the. But basically, it's okay because they came and see you few times before they presented the things. Okay, this is what I did. I do the empower teaching, give students the opportunity to cheat parts of the lesson. Okay, the things that they can easily. Okay, the end product we have this. Like I told you, we have the module. the compilation of all the strategies and everything. So each semester, I'm doing the same project but to a different cohort of people, student. I can just simply take the module from the seniors and photostate and give to the student. But I don't want to do that. Each semester, the student have to do their own module and they can take back because they will use this during their practical teaching. And they are actually telling me very useful. They use during the practical teaching. And some of them are actually teaching tuition. They are actually using this also in tuition. So the end product, we actually come up with this module because we have another project. Is a project. So this is a picture of they are actually using this for their school project. One of the assignment is actually school project. This is my learning outcome. They need to plan and implement activity. Okay. So this is other thing that they do at school. So this is what it means by meaningful learning experience. From the lecture, from the tutorial, and then into the class. Because they are actually doing the simulation teaching in a practice during the tutorial class. So they have like experience doing this with their friends. So we are giving the real life experience doing this in school. So this is the project in school. I show you some pictures also. So this is the project. This is actually the lecture. What I mean by lecture, okay, I empower the lecture. Okay, so this is, I just want to show you the module. This is from student to student. I don't need the module, okay? I don't need the module, but I have copies of module for many semesters. I show my student, this is from the semester, this is from year, sidang academic, but I don't give them to photostate the whole thing. But when they finish the whole lesson, the whole course, can I have a copy of seniors? I said, yes, you can take and make a copy. But for the course itself, for that cohort, they have to come up with their own. Okay, so it drives their motivation because they know they need to do this for the sake of themselves because they need to use this for the practical. Okay? So they understand why they need to study this course for the semester. Okay, so lecture, tutorial, and classroom. Why project-based learning? Sorry, I put it down here. Okay, why? By doing this project. Okay, connectivist, constructivist, behaviorist, all coming together. And you can embed variety of learning strategies, 21st learning approaches. Okay, this is my timeline from work 1 to work 15. It will start by giving briefing, the course outline, the project briefing, everything, settle the whole work 1 and work 2. So the work 3 and work 5, they are actually designing and layout the project. I'm talking about the school project. Okay, the school project, they need to implement a project in school. Okay, and then the work 6 to 10 is actually development, the do and redo, a check and recheck of project. And then week 11 to week 13, we actually implement the fieldwork at school. And then week 14 and 15, we are actually doing a presentation and report. Because I will divide them into small groups. Each group will go to a school and cater different students. Sometimes we do a station. We have like one class, like because I'm teaching, this is a Malay literature teaching method. Very few schools in Penang offered Malay literature in Form 4 and Form 5. So there are a few schools that I always go for my project. Okay, like literature, I always go to SMK Sungai Ara. There are only 2 classes that offer literature. And I have like 30 students. I divide them into like 10 groups, If many people in a group, there'll be a sleeping partner. So each of the group will have their own specific topic. So we go to school one day, the whole one day from 8 o'clock until 1. So we do. So group A will teach about, the group A will, I divide the things. So they know. So we go to the school and we do project. So at the end of the day, the school student will have like also a copy of module on how to analyze the rhymes, the synopsis of the novel, the moral of the story, and whatever things. Okay, the plots of the novel. This small plot, moral of the story, the synopsis, and everything, the character of the novel. These are things that prepared by small group because we brief already. So these are the week they need to prepare the things. And we are actually the do, redo, check and recheck process because they know why they need to check and recheck because we are going to school. They need to teach this to the school student. Then presentation because each group are actually doing different topic. So at the end, that's week 14 always we have like 2 or 3 hours of presentation. So each of group will show what they did actually in school. So this is the picture of the project. You could see like different colors of t-shirt, right? So I'm doing this for every semester. I'm teaching like Malay literature teaching method and Bahasa Malaysia teaching method. So I have a different group of students going to school. Last semester, I have like 7 projects in 7 schools. Bukit Jambul, Sungai Ara, Bukit Gambir, Bukit Jambul, a few schools here in Penang, nearest school in Penang. So you could see also how motivate the student actually to do the project. They are actually buat t-shirt. They're willing to actually come up with their own money and make the t-shirt. So said, doktor kita pergi kelas, kita kena pakai t-shirt yang sama. So I had no problem. This is they graduated already. This is semester 2008. So you could see the grey t-shirt. This is the navy t-shirt color. This is my blue t-shirt color. So I have a lot of t-shirt in my house also because each of the group project, they want to have the same identity. It shows that how motivated them and they are really engaged in the project. They really want to do this. So this is actually happened at the week 11, 12. Okay. So from the week 1, we plan from the week 1. Okay. So lectures is lectures, tutorial. This is one of the project. So this is an ongoing project. That's why I told you from the week 3, 4 until week 10 is really a hectic week for me because I have like 7, 8 group I need to cater to entertain the student. Okay. So this is what I did for one of my course. Okay. Telling you what I did to actually to motivate and to engage students. Because I don't want to actually be a burung kakak tua, giving lectures and giving a writing assignment. Nowadays writing assignment they can just copycat. So the assignment at the end of the day they need to come up with a project. So if report of project there be no plagiat, because each group will come up with their own report of project because they are actually doing different things. So I don't have a problem with plagiat assignment because they are actually from the project. Okay, the report from the project, and I don't have any even problem to actually reading all the reports because we do the check, recheck, refine, find since the week 3 until week 10 or 11. So at the end of the semester, while reviewing the report, I almost knew. That's why I told you when they send their draft, I say, okay, this one receive plus, go and do again. You come again another 1 or 2 days. Okay, this one is good. Okay, you need to repair this. You need to adjust this. Okay, go. So by the end of the semester, the report is quite steady because we have go through many check and redo process. Okay, this is one of my this is exactly during before COVID. Okay, let me show you the story 2 from F to F to online learning. This is what happened when COVID. Okay, so this is previous last semester. Okay, this is PPK 221 reading, writing, mathematics skill in special children. I did this course together with Dr. Rose Neza, one of the participants in this webinar. Okay, this is a reading, writing, and mathematics skill in special children. So we need them to actually, they are able to actually explain the concept of reading, writing, and early mathematics for special children. They can also explain the causes and how to diagnose and identify a suitable instrument to cater these 3 skills, reading, writing, and at the end of the day, they could come up with one kit that could help the student, could help. This is a special children that could help the children with the reading, writing, and mathematics skills. Okay, this is what we do. Okay, this is again a project. Okay, that's why you say in the actionable strategies, you have to design interactive, you have to design creative activities. Okay, So this is the planning, the design and develop and implementation, same as this also. Okay. Okay. Form a group, distribution a task, because for this PPK 221, the project is coming up is a story sex. I call in Bahasa Malaysia is a guni cerita. Is a bag which filled with storybook and props that the student will use to actually tell story to the children, which from the story they have the element of reading, writing and mathematics. So these are the projects. I need to cover the whole 3 basic skills, the reading, writings and also the mathematics skill. So these are the projects. So we form a group. Okay, the story is up to them. That's why we said you give choice to students. I said whatever story, either you create your own story or you adapt story. But they need to come up with a new one, adapt. Okay, adjust here and there. Okay. Okay, so this is the design and develop process. Okay, storyboard. This is how they do. They do the project. Okay, form a group, distribution of tasks, a new story, original, and finally they came up with a. Sorry, I cannot take the picture of story set. Everything is actually in my room. Okay, and actually we did the project for many semesters, so we have a lot of story sets. So after 2 years, we will distribute the story sets to the nearest school in Penang, to the nearest kindergarten, preschools, and also primary school. For the class pemulihan, so the teacher could use for the class pemulihan. This is actually what we are actually doing. Okay, for many semesters already, me and Dr. Rose Niza. Thank you, Dr. Rose. Okay, this is what I said by Iman. They're actually preparing all the things. You could see, or they have their story, the storyline, everything, the storybook. This is actually they are preparing for the props, and this is they bring the things to the school and tell a story to the student. Okay, this is what I mean by the story sex project. It could cover the whole, it achieve the learning outcome, so the student could able to come up with one product that could help to enhance small children, special children with the language, the reading, the writings, and also mathematics. Because I strongly believe that storybook is amazing tools to boost the children interest in reading and writing. And the nature of the children, they love story, right? So I'm using this for my group special education program children. Okay, so this is their prop. This is all by themselves. Okay, so they are actually doing this is a project work. Okay, so these are actually the students. Okay, this is happened before COVID. Unfortunately, this semester COVID. So we have to change the things. Okay, we have e-learning before, but because of COVID, we are actually more on e-learn. Utilize the e-learn. I have Facebook group for every of my course. Week 1, I will have WhatsApp group and also Facebook. COVID or no COVID, I have these 2 platforms. Okay, because why? They are the 21st century student. They are actually with WhatsApp. They are actually with Facebook every day. So make use of that. So it's easy for them. So Facebook, we have a WhatsApp group and WebEx. And because of COVID, we are intensively using this. Okay. Okay. So this is for this semester. Okay. In order to assess whether they acquire or not acquire the knowledge and skill. Okay. Understand the concept of reading, writing, and mathematics, and also they could explain the factors and the diagnose and also the instrument to assess these 3 basic skills. We have this. We have online quizzes. Okay, we have 2 online quizzes and also assignment. And because assignment, I don't want them to actually copycat from my notes and also from the internet and everything. We have the infographic. I'll show the infographic. So this is how we make it one step ahead. Instead of just they need to prepare an assignment of this, at the end of the assignment, at the end of the essay, they need to come up with the infographic that could conclude the whole of the essay. Okay, so I show you about the infographic. And this one is also a story set project. we still launched the story set project even under the COVID, but unfortunately we cannot go to the school. So what I encourage my students, because they do things, they are actually producing ebooks. Last time they are actually producing tangible product, okay, a book, a story set. But this time around, it's actually an ebook of story sets. Okay, so they are actually activity pengajaran dan bahan bantu mengajar. They are coming up with a story sets project. Okay, this is from the e-learn. I put up videos and everything. Okay, on the e-learn, whatever things that they could help them to understand each week topics. Okay, songs, video, and everything. Okay, this is WhatsApp group. Okay, I told you I did also give lectures using WhatsApp. You could see me. Okay, you could see me. Okay, there are times during the lecture. My lecture is every Friday 10 to 12. So from 10 to 12, I want everybody to actually for if WebEx is WebEx. Okay, sometimes I just post recorded video on the e-learn. There are also times I use WhatsApp. Okay, these are the things I use WhatsApp because I need to explain to them 3 methods to teach reading. I'm not sure whether by giving recorded lecture they could understand. Okay, so I'm giving lectures by talking and using the WhatsApp voice message. I explain to them blah 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 blah. Host and student respond right after. Faham doktor, faham doktor, faham doktor, faham doktor. And another push. And they also raise, betul. Kalau Indonesia kan ikut, because there's one technique called phonic technique. So when I explain it, oh doktor betul, because Indonesia actually using phonic to teach reading. I said yes. Oh barulah mereka faham kenapa Indonesia sebut macam tu kan. Oh kita sebut macam tu, perkataan kita bunyi kita agak berbeza sebab Indonesia tu guna phonic. We are not using phonics. There are time I'm using WhatsApp as a platform to give lectures. Think that I see that I can give like 5 to 10 minutes explanation about the things and then post, budak dengar. So it can also keep my student to be with me the whole 2 hours of lecture. Sebab kalau saya buat WebEx, if using the WebEx, some of them are actually muted lah, they hide their video, so I don't know what they do, right? And even if I post the recorded video, kita pun tak tahu dia tengok ke tak tengok during our lecture time 10 to 12 on Friday. We can just monitor to the WhatsApp the attendance. They are actually WhatsApp. Okay, I need them to actually take attendance in the WhatsApp. Tapi how they are actually, kan? They are emotionally, cognitively, behaviorally involved, immersed. I'm not so sure. So this is one way actually I'm doing. I'm giving lectures to WhatsApp. Okay, and we have also Facebook because I have story sets and we have ebook. So they posted the text and they posted the ebook in Facebook. This is again, you are actually giving choices to the student. You can choose whatever story that you want. And this is, they are uploaded the file. Okay. This, in order to come up with a solid ebook, they are actually again redo and recheck process. Okay, so the WhatsApp is very active during the COVID because sometimes they will also we use the Facebook and WhatsApp so much. So this is a Facebook platform. So I can keep my student with me engaged because I'm using the things that they are using all the time, the Facebook and also the WhatsApp. That's how to keep them actually learn for this semester. This is what I mean by infographic. I'm giving this assignment to them, right? I told you. So in order to make them, because I'm not so sure whether they could understand the whole thing or not. So I ask them to come up with the infographic. By coming up the infographic, I know that they are actually could synthesize their reading. So that's why I ask them to, at the end of the essay, they need to come up with the infographic to summarize the whole writing. So why? Because there's no copy and paste. They cannot just copy and paste because at the end they need to synthesize the reading and the writing because they need to come up with this infographic and no plagiat. I put among them. Okay, at least because the infographic should be different. Okay, you could see from the infographic. Now this is actually what I did for my course. Okay, during the COVID and non-COVID, this is what I do for my courses. Okay, how to actually engage and motivate my student. So what can you reflect for my experience? Okay, we have like few more minutes. Okay, could anybody say anything? Maybe could also share what they did also, what they plan to do. Do I need to call? Or who volunteer actually to share? Anybody? Dr. Ainul, you want to say anything?
Assalamualaikum Dr. Fazilah.
Yes, Dr. Justin. Okay.
Ya, saya daripada sini, daripada apa yang telah disampaikan, I can say that I need to make myself more motivated and more relevant, respectful, knowledgeable, more engaging, and also well planned di dalam memastikan student saya bermotivasi untuk my next lecture, insyaAllah. Terima kasih.
Okay, good. All right, thank you. I hope this benefit you, Dr. Justin. Who else who want to say anything? Dr. Hafiz? Abdul Hafiz, Abdul Majid? You want to say anything, Dr. Hafiz?
Dr. Fazilah, terima kasih. Terima kasih perkongsian. Cuma saya tak ada apa nak kongsi lah. Semester ni sebelum pasca COVID ni, saya ada ubah cara pengajaran di lapangan.
Okay.
Berkaitan dengan subjek insect ekologi. Sebelum ni dalam dewan kuliah. Jadi feedback pelajar ni, mereka lebih suka kelas outdoor lah. Jadi bila saya mengajar serangga tu, saya boleh relatekan dengan persekitaran. Sebab start topik pun insect ekologi. Jadi pelajar ni je boleh relate terus dengan alam sekitar. Rasanya pelajar ni je dalam classroom ni je kurang sikit lah sebab banyakkan ngantuk.
Betul.
Jadi itu sajalah.
Outside classroom is betul, mereka memang enjoy. Mereka boleh hujan ke tak hujan ke, mereka duduk tengok cuaca je. Tak hujan je bawa tikar lah, bagai lah, they enjoy. And you also enjoy, you know. Having outdoor class also.
Cuma dari segi kelas outdoor ni sebab kena tengok cuaca jugalah. Masalah kadang-kadang dah berjalan pergi tengok satu tempat ada banyak serangga keluar atau pokok dia. Kadang-kadang panas sangat, tak sesuai kita tengok kelas. Kelas pukul 10 ke 8 ke okey. Kelas petang tu aja dapat agak panas sikit lah.
Agak panas sikit. But the student are really enjoy. Sampai I have class at 3, dia cakap, doktor boleh tak buat kelas kat luar? Kita pun panas juga sebenarnya. Tapi tak apalah, kita pun berpeluh-peluh. Tapi seeing them enjoying the class, so okey lah kan. Okay.
Cuma kadang pelajar ni memang dia kena engagement tu, dia kena engage betul-betul sebab dari pengalaman saya baru ni kadang kita kena bertanya dengan pelajar ni. Kalau tak tanya dia memang tak akan cakap lah. Terutama yang jenis pendiam lah.
Okay. Terima kasih Dr. Hafiz.
Okay, sama.
Who else? Maybe 1 or 2 response? Nak panggil, nak panggil nama, tak tahu ada tidak kan? Dr. Hui Sanlim? Ada? Okay, so I think we are at the end of the session. Okay, thank you. This is a surprise birthday party for my student. Masuk kelas, rupanya bagi kek. Thank you. Okay, so I hope you could actually benefit from this sharing session. It's not a lecture, a sharing session. I also learned a lot from all of you. Thank you. I hope this really benefit and let's work together for the benefit of the student and also for the USM. Alright. Thank you all.
Just a friendly reminder, tolong isi borang feedback yang dah ada dekat chat box tu, ada link dekat situ, tolong isi sebab link tu akan aktif dalam masa 20 minit sahaja untuk CPD points. Thank you.
Okay, terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih.